Recording.
Babies. Their cute little smile, their gentle little touch. You may think you know everything about them. Sure, you have the basics down. A man meets a woman, they fall in love and have a long time together, and then boom, 9 months later, out pops little Junior. The process of pregnancy is interesting, and everyone should be informed since it is the beginning of our own life story. Today, I will take you in on the important facts of pregnancy by going inside the fertilization of the egg, then growing into different various stages of the development, and giving birth by going through labor and delivery. According to justthefacts.org, it states that within the first 9 months, a newly conceived organism develops from a nearly microscopic cell to a newborn about 20 inches long. This starts each month in one of a woman's ovaries. A group of immature eggs starts to develop. Normally, one egg is then released and travels into the fallopian tube, where it remains until a single sperm penetrates it during the fertilization. The sperm then penetrates a mature egg, which is called ovulation, and it is fertilized. Within 24 hours, the egg begins dividing rapidly into many different cells. Then, 3 weeks after the egg is fertilized, it begins to grow into clumps of a small ball, which is kind of like this, is the same size as in a woman. During this fertilization, the baby's first nerve cell begins to form. The developing baby is called an embryo to the 8th week of pregnancy. After the 8th week of birth, the baby is called a fetus. According to MD.com/baby, revised January 26, 2006, pregnancy can have an effect on the mother's behavior due to the nerve systems growing in her child. The development of the babies is completed in 3 different stages. Now, we will go into the different stages, which are called first, second, and third trimesters. Parents have the ability to get an ultrasound, which helps know what stage the baby is in. The first trimester has already been stated, which was the fertilization of the egg. But according to pregnancy.about.com, as it develops, the embryo is protected by an automatic sac, and the waste and nutrients are transferred through the placenta that is connected to the parent and the child by an umbilical cord. The second trimester is called the fetal development, where major organs, fingers, and toes are formed. The babies have the ability to move around and open their eyes and suck their thumb. Parents can find the sex of the baby from the ultrasound, and the mother also can feel the baby moving around in this trimester. The third trimester leads to delivery and labor. Labor is when a baby goes through the series of movements to help the way through the birth passage. The uterus is contracted with pains of the labor, which is stated in the college-level psychology book wrote by Spencer A. Rathis, 2012, that during delivery, the woman then pushes when she feels the contraction. The woman is dilated and the baby is pushed through the cervix of the woman. Now, the video that I am about to share shows the fetal development process and gives you a visual aid. I found it on aboutpregnancy.com.
After an egg is released from an ovary and is fertilized, it travels slowly through the fallopian tube to the uterus. During this time, it begins to divide until it has grown to about 100 cells. The egg, now called blastocyst, then implants in the tissue lining the wall of the uterus. The uterus will then house and protect
This is called the first trimester.
For 38 weeks, or approximately 9 months. When the fetus has matured and birth is imminent, the baby begins to go through a series of movements.
The second
helping navigate
trimester.
through the birth canal. As the uterus begins to contract with the pains of labor, the opening of the uterus, called the cervix, dilates to allow the baby to pass into the
In
vagina.
the third trimester.
This muscular tube expands to accommodate the baby's head and shoulders, while uterine contractions continue until the baby enters the world in what is in most cases a downward-facing position. At this point, the baby will be cleaned and checked for good health before being placed on its mother's chest to rest in bone.
In conclusion, you are left with a beautiful baby. Today, I have shared the process of pregnancy by going into the fertilization of the egg, growing through the different stages of the developing child, and taking you through birth and labor and delivery. Babies, their cute little smile, their gentle little touch. Now you have been informed from your process of being developed.